Hey everyone, it's Milo here for the Fellowship of Acoustics and welcome to a new episode of The Vault. Here I'm standing again. There's The Vault. Here's our new arrivals wall with some beauties on there from last new arrivals. Today we're going to showcase one of the guitars that is in this vault right now, and it's a vintage guitar. And it is, you might say this is one of the first real rock and roll guitars that was featured in sort of pop culture. It is a Gibson guitar. It is from 1955. It's an ES-295. I'll grab it for you. In a vintage brown Gibson case. First let's unlock the case and showcase the beautiful guitar. Here we are. A hollow body guitar, Florentine cutaway, completely gold is what the ES-295 is known for. Have a look at this beautiful crackling finish from a 1955 Gibson guitar. Let's take it over to the counter and dive into the specs of this beautiful golden guitar. So the ES-295 was first introduced in 1952 as like a fancier, more luxurious brother or sibling to the ES-175. Of course, you can see the resemblance with a ES-175. But then you get the gold finish, of course. You get the white pickguard with the floral pattern as well. Like with a lot of Gibson inventions over the years, Les Paul was also involved in the ES-295. This started in 1952 and Les Paul visited a hospital where a lot of veterans were that were in the Second World War. And there was a specific veteran there that played guitar, but now he was paralyzed on one side, and Les Paul visited him and he actually played a song for him in the room using only one hand, his left hand, and he tapped out the chords. And then they started talking and Les Paul wanted to have a guitar built for this veteran, and he said, I really want a golden archtop. So Les Paul phoned maybe Ted McCarthy at Gibson, and he asked him, could you please send us over a ES-175 painted completely gold? Unfortunately, right after that visit, the veteran passed away and he didn't ever see the golden ES-175, but this is the exact moment that the ES-295 was born. So in 1952 the ES-295 was released, and in the first year it only featured one neck P90, and then from 1953 it had two P90s. The ES-295 wasn't a big success. Not a lot of people played these guitars, not a lot of were produced, and that also makes it more rare nowadays. In 1957 they switched over to humbuckers, as they did on a lot of guitars. They switched from P90s to humbuckers, and then in 1959 it was discontinued. One of the first adopters of the ES-295 and a player that is still connected to this instrument is Scotty Moore. And we know Scotty Moore is the guitarist for Elvis Presley. On the first few records that Elvis put out, they were recorded in the Sun Records studio. One of these singles was That's Alright, of course we all know it. And you can hear Scotty Moore playing on those records, playing an ES-295, a little bit older than this one though. So let's talk some specs of the ES-295. So essentially this is a ES-175, like I already mentioned. Of course you see the gold finish that I mentioned. We have a laminated maple back and sides, also gold, double binding on the body. Double P90 with white or cream covers. We also have a white pickguard with a gold floral pattern. We have the double parallelogram inlays on here. If you count all the frets on this guitar, you find there are 19 of them. And in 1955, Gibson actually changed to a 20 fret neck. So we know this is an early 1955 guitar. And for an early 1955 guitar, just look at the state of this golden finish, which tends to age a lot. It is in really, really good condition. The playability is also really fine because it's also had a refret over the years. And that concludes this episode of The Vault. We're really proud to showcase this beautiful ES-295 all gold from 1955. Just know that it is up on our website, it is still available, and we're going to conclude with another demo and see you in the next episode of The Vault.